I knew Merge for a long time. At that time I was doing recordings for classical music and I was impressed about the quality of the preamps. Then through the years I discovered all the networking of the merging system and the Ravenna behind, and then come clear in my mind that it was possible to use it also in live situations. And from that point on, we decided to introduce last year in the festival the whole merging world to do the streaming sessions. In the beginning it was like have a good preamp, I use a DAW to mix, but at one point came on the market one little box that is called ANUBIS, and the whole game changed.
We're very happy to be here as partners to the Umbria Jazz Festival, which is a fantastic place, beautiful history, and also, which I think is very nice, obviously Umbria is always a little bit ahead of technology or trying out new things, which we value, because we try also to be ahead of technology with our tools. And this year, following up last year's success with our preamps, this year there is this ANUBIS music mission, so it's a new interface with a new application. And this fulfills exactly, as far as I understand, your needs in terms of being able to mix, to have a live mixer, not only mixing the mic pre's, but having them over the network and not needing even a computer to do that. I mean, you can if you need a remote control, but it's not necessary, or you need to record as a DAW, what you do, but it's an accessory, it's not the central point. And the ANUBIS music mission in that aspect has, for small jazz combos, exactly what you need in Umbria for acoustic music, the possibility to have inputs, to have this great mic pre's connected over the network, EQs, compressors, and a reverb. And I know you've used it now for a few days.
Absolutely.
Can you give us a little bit of your experience?
No, well, it's great because we decided to rid off completely from any kind of sound console. It's a kind of challenging idea, and also a bit crazy, because at this point nobody did it before. And and the impression is super nice because you have a really small package, little box, one unit rack, and you have an amazing sound system that you can really mix. Absolutely, you can mix it. And at that point, you can also do the recordings because, well, you know, jazz music is sometimes you have an incredible day and you don't expect it. That is an incredible gig. You know, inspiration, energy, whatever. And then we start recording all the gigs of the festival in the last 40 years. We have a huge archive on this. But of course, when you back in the days when you started to do multi-track recording, was a kind of extra gear, extra stuff, extra cost as well. Now actually with the ANUBIS Plus, all the RPN orders, whatever, you can really do it in the same price. It just matters to have one or two laptops, and also the fact that I can have two laptops recording at the same time is important for us because I have the backup. And frankly, the cost is ridiculous if you compare with back in the days. And also, the other amazing thing that I really love is the fact that I can really move signals everywhere.
Yeah, you can patch them virtually wherever you want.
Wherever I like.
And perhaps to be very clear is that if you have a microphone on stage, you can demultiply this input. Basically, once it's in the digital network domain, you can send it obviously to the mixer, to the ANUBIS, which will go to the PA, but you can send it to computer 1, to computer 2 to be recorded, and why not to another output?
Yeah, so if we decide to do a streaming event, I just need an extra ANUBIS, done. When we start this kind of job, was a lot of tons of copper wires moving around, and you know how many issues you could find in between.
Yeah.
Nowadays, super simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of great step ahead for our.
I know from my networking experience, the only danger is when you break the little plastic tick on the RG45 connector.
but you have the redundancy.
No,
right?
I know.
That is fine.
But this is the only kind of mechanical issue.
We decided to move to 96 basically for two reasons. First, any concert that we have in the festival could be an historical one. Then we are producing records of recording is done like 20, 25 years ago, or even more. That means now you should try to record at the maximum quality that you can, and then move to 96 is kind of obvious at this point. Maybe in future we will move even more, and maybe we can also try DXD and stuff like that. But you have the benefits also in the live music, in the amplification, because the deepness and the richness and also the details that you can have when you move to different sample rate and different beat depth. At that point is something incredible. The other thing, yesterday I was testing the monitors, because of course when you do a live session, you have also to take care about the listening environment of the musician on stage. I was testing we were together on stage. I was testing, and it's quite impressive how there's no delay at all. And the coherence in phase is really, the sound is super natural, and say, wow, it seems even not amplified. And this is something super important for a musician like jazz musician. This is also something that impressed me.
That's perhaps important to say on the technical side of it, is that on the network, once you connected the microphone, I mean, I'm taking this example again with the microphone, but once it is converted in the network signal, is that each element will have a latency, but a very small latency. You have 48 samples most of the time. So it's nothing between in and outs, but so that means that apart from this latency, it's direct. So there's absolutely no understandable for a musician latency that happens. I mean, the 48 samples is a technical latency, but you don't hear it. So, so this is very interesting, and you don't have any, like you would have or could have with other digital devices, you don't have this latency there.
Actually, the mid-low quality in the digital desks, they have a lot of these problems actually. And this is one of the reasons why we try to don't use it. But the delay, this kind of latency, complicates the life of everybody. And one thing that is super important for the musicians on stage is the comfort. They say when they are comfortable, they play better. And latency play a big role on this. Then, this is something that really surprised me.
And you had, I mean, yesterday it was beautiful because it was a trio, the double bass, piano and drums, with a very nice singer. And at one point, obviously, because it was Alberto who was mixing it, he also needed, I mean, he didn't know the content and whatever. And at one point there was a bit too much reverb on the voice and whatever that he very straightforward adjusted. But we could at the same time hear the reverb of the ANUBIS. And it was interesting because it wasn't something fake suddenly.
No,
it was something
far away, which is usually the role sometimes of the reverb in a natural, or in an acoustic context. It just move the depth back and forth. Yeah, it's like, that was interesting yesterday. I say it was too much.
Exactly, but at the same time, yes,
it was perhaps not fake.
Because we noticed it, obviously it was a bit too much, and he compensated it right away. He's a great professional, but it wasn't disturbing.
No. It was just too much. It was too big as a space for the context, but it was not wrong. It was not like fake or this kind of stuff. And also, I did it a bit by purpose. I throw Alberto, which is a colleague of mine. I throw it in the system with not so much explanations. And after 1 hour, he was perfectly comfortable. Yeah. He was doing mixing and stuff like that. I give to him a couple of tips, mainly on the routing and this kind of preparation, preset of the ANUBIS. But after that was really super straightforward. He found out the right buttons, the right tools in the right moment. And this, I think, also this is quite important, because when a system is too complicated, the people try to they are not welcome to use it.
We worked very hard, and I know we can even make it better, but I think we achieved quite a big thing. We worked very hard we know it's a complex infrastructure because of the networking and all of that, and that not everybody either understands or even wants to put their hand or their head in there, which is totally understandable. We're sound engineers, tone meisters. We're not IT specialists on that aspect, but nevertheless we use this infrastructure. But we try to make it as appealing, as easy for people to approach it and to understand it. And I think Alberto was a good example for that.
Yeah, I did it by purpose. Actually, what I find super nice of Animan, visually I can see where the things are going. From our technical point of view, we need to have the control of what goes where. Otherwise, at one point you get lost, because in a recording system it's somehow simple. You have the mics and you have the recorder. That's it, done. In our environment, it's different because there are many things that are moving around.
Still, as sound engineers and still in the network age, signal flow is signal path, sorry, is key to be able to master what you do. One thing I think is important perhaps to mention with the ANUBIS music mission, I mean two things actually, perhaps you can tell a bit more about it, but it's that you can also really, even though it's on a touch screen or on a remote control, but you can name the strips, you can name the sends, so that you find yourself comfortable again that you send this to the bass player and not to the, it's not send 1, send 3 or send 5, you can give a name to that. And you can snapshot also like a live desk basically, you can make snapshots where you can recall different snapshots for different songs.
I'm super surprised about the size of the screen. It's a tiny screen. Absolutely.
It's a telephone screen,
yeah. But you can find the most important things, the basics. And you can access to all the parameters in 1 or 2 clicks, which is quite important because in the live situations, you have the things are happening in that moment that you cannot miss it. And yeah, I was quite surprised about the organization of the whole thing, and then probably we can work together to develop a bit more focus on the live.
Mm-hmm. The fact to have, I mean, I was very touched yesterday, and I know I wasn't the only one. We were here with Igor, but I mean, you were in the head in the concert and all of that. But seeing all that happening through this small little device, I mean, we're confident it worked, it's stable, and all of that. But nevertheless, it was very moving because we saw Alberto with his 2 fingers. He was comfortable with it, but it's this tiny little thing that makes all the sound in this venue. And because the converters were obviously on stage with a network cable, but you need still physically to sit at the other end, or at least at 2/3 or 3/4.
And the footprint is super small. It's like a little
small, and it was all just 1 network cable, or no, it was a SPS, so it was 2 network cables, I think.
The other one was recording.
Was for the laptop to be recorded.
Well, when we talked the first time about this, a couple of months ago, I said, "Really? Can we do it?" And we do it. We did it actually.
Yes, we did it. And thanks for your support.
Well, thanks to you.